Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it is the 3rd of June 2024 and I'm taking the afternoon off. I may do a little bit of work later on. Overdid it recently, and so I'm making a couple of videos and I'll tell you about those when I get back in the green machine. But I thought what I do is just go up around some of the ponds, so there's people that haven't seen the ponds in a while and some people who have never seen the ponds. And so we're starting up here at the northeastern part of the property, up next to the road, traffic going by. And so this is pond 1. It's not, when I say the number of ponds, they're just in a series, but they weren't necessarily put in at the same time, at the number. It isn't, they weren't dug at the same, it doesn't relate to the number. I can't speak now, but we'll tuck it out. So this is pond 1. It's around a peninsula, around this weeping willow right here. And you can see there's some bird's foot trefoil down there, nice nitrogen fixer. Buttercup as well. And so this pond was put in, I'm guessing, about 7 years ago. It's really nice, lots of wildlife in this pond, lots of fish in here. I haven't cleaned up in here, and I just haven't spent the time up around here because I haven't sat in any of the ponds. Thea and her girlfriend often will come up here and sit, but I don't think they've done it this year. So this is the pond 1, pretty nice pond. This one will drain into the forested area over there, and we'll go over to pond 8 in a couple of minutes. But this one will feed pond 8. A couple of vernal pools are in between. And it also feeds pond 2, which we'll go to next. So we're up here now. This is the 3rd food forest. I seeded the area with a cover crop. It's been pretty dry lately. The ponds are all lower. This is one that doesn't get too low at all, pond 1. But you'll see even the beaver ponds are a little bit lower. It looks like a couple of the trees or bushes. So this is a serviceberry here. So this one here, it looks like it's taken quite a hit, and but I'm not going to give up on it because the service berries, they'll often set up new shoots from the roots. The other service berries are looking good. The red buds are looking good. All the apples are looking pretty good. From all the shock of all these trees here were all transplanted last fall and this spring. And I've got cover crop seed in there, so I'm not going to walk around in there. That persimmons is the one that got wiped out in the first food forest last year when a honey locust split in half and took out about a dozen trees. And so that one I'd cut off, and it set up new shoots, but doesn't look like it's making it. But I'll give it the rest of the season to see how well it does do. But this is the highest part of the property. This is the large hugelkultur area, so that's all pits underneath this with all the forested trees like over in here that were buried. Tons of poison ivy and lots of stone. There were stone walls in here and lots of dead ash trees as well. And of course we took all that material and put it underground to sequester the carbon, keep it out of the atmosphere, and bring more moisture to the soil. Also, there's a hugelkultur pit right part of this pond, right where those yellow irises are there, and that is so nutrient rich. So these hugelkultur pits, they can retain a lot of water, and it's pretty amazing. So they help to sequester the carbon. They help to save all of those nutrients in the soil as well, and it creates a different ecosystem. That part of it, the lower part of it's somewhat anaerobic because in some areas it may stay very moist. In this area, this is all gravel in this area, so it stays predominantly aerobic. And the deer flies are out now. All right, let's get in the green machine here and. Bear with me as I get myself situated here. I decided to use the green machine because it is the quietest machine that we have. Now I'm going to stay away from over there, the area by the third food forest. Oh, forgot my seatbelt. There, the seatbelt is on. Okay, so I'm just going to jabber a bit as I'm driving around here, and try to avoid hitting any trees. So this is a little roadway that I haven't worked on in a while. That's all third food forest over in that area. Some black walnut trees in here, and lots of the Jerusalem artichokes in between them. You can see they're all about 3.5, 4 foot tall now. I've got to remove all the tree tubes from this area. There's the grapevines right over there, and the serviceberry plants right over there. The swale that connects from up where the grapevines were. We're not going to go up there today, but someday I'll do an update on some of the earthworks I've been doing up there. Just take a look here real quick at pond 2. I do have a challenge getting out of the machine, and it's a bit of a challenge getting in and out, to tell you the truth. My flexibility isn't what it used to be. So this is pond 2 here. This one stays pretty high at most years. It never gets close to drying out. All the swales, so you can see this is a spillway coming into pond 2 from pond 1. When it's really full and all the hugelkultur pits are full, it'll work its way down through the gravel and all work right down in here into pond 2. And these swale systems here, which I haven't mowed around yet. So this swale system here comes around from it feeds off of the road and then feeds off of the driveway. There's another one on the other side of all the hazelnuts over there. And it works its way down this swale system here, and this swale also drains off of the driveway as well, and they come down and they go underground here and dump into pond 2. This lower swale down here, and this is the second food forest over in this area, and I've made videos about this, and I've been working over here a lot lately. And this swale system here doesn't drain into pond 2. This one actually goes down into the sediment collecting canal system here. So I'm going to be doing some work on the sediment connecting canal system later on this season, if time permits. We'll see how well I can keep going with things. But as the winds pick up soil, when the earth has been disturbed, when particulate matter falls to the surface and isn't root bound by the vegetation on the ground, any sediment that washes off will work down into this sediment collecting canal system. And this is graduated, starts shallow up at that end and gets deeper down there by pond 4. And I mean pond 3. We'll go down there in just a minute. But this really helps me to gather up all of that sediment that gets collected down in this canal system. So we're always taking anything that could put water that wants to leave the property, going from the high northeast part of the property, going a little bit more than 50 feet lower in elevation in the southwest part of the property. We try to keep redirecting the water to come back on our property so it doesn't leave the property. And we try to do a few things. We try to catch all of the sediment, so things that when I'm disturbing the ground, I'm disturbing the surface, and so we can lose valuable soil. So I try to catch it in the sediment collecting canal systems. Then those feed into bioremediation canals, bioremediation system, which is composed of a canal system and 2 ponds, and we'll head further down. Holding a camera, switching back and forth here, getting a seatbelt on around my belly, and we're not going too far right now. So now we showed pond 1 initially, and we just saw pond 2, and I mentioned that that pond 1 actually drains into to 2 different ponds, pond 2, which we just saw, and pond 8, and we're going to go over to pond 8. This is an area, it's a little bit low right in here. It all undulates all over in this property, so that's where some vernal pools are going into the forested area. Oh, right over here, last fall I dug up a lot of, from the 3rd food forest, I had a lot of horseradish up there, so I came down and dug out a trench on this side, put some of our leaf mold in there, put the horseradish down, and then took some of our wood chips, covered it up to try and suppress some of the weeds. I've still got some weeds there I've got to take care of. But the earth that I dug out of there, I deposited over here, and I'm just waiting for things to dry up enough where I can get over here with a Hulk and bury some of those rocks, because it's really rocky. We also dug another trench here for our oak trees, so we're trying to reforest all different parts of the property around here in the new property, and so these are a whole bunch of white oaks in here. There's an English oak in there. There may be a few swamp white oaks in there as well, but these are all to reforest the areas because of all the devastation we've had over the years with the emerald ash boring insect and destroying so many of our white ash trees, and mountain ash as well. And over here, last summer, late summer, last summer, I excavated this new pond, pond 8, and so bear with me when I get in and out of this piece of equipment. 3 points of contact. So now we're just going to take a look at pond 8. This is one I dug late last summer. Was the second to last pond I dug, and this was all wiped out with all the dead emerald ash. As a result of emerald ash boring insect that destroyed all of our white ash trees, and there's still quite a few that I did not take down. We'll walk over and take a look. So here's some of the foxglove that I planted last, or I think Thea planted these. So these are some of the foxglove. That's the digitalis. Love these plants. And here's, I got so many of these dangerous dead standing ash trees. This one's about ready to come down. And just around this pond here, I probably still have 2 dozen, but I took down probably about 40 out of here that were dead. So this is pond 8. Some of the blackcurrant plants that I was selling. Oh, somebody ate all the vinca. I had vinca planted all around these ones. No, they didn't get all the ones about those trees. So these are the blackcurrants. They can tolerate some of the shade. We'll see. Yeah, I could see some of the vinca they didn't eat. And Thea put some more hostas around in here. I put some hostas over here. So there's hostas over there. And the frogs have found this place, and we'll see how everything works out. I still have a lot more finishing work to do over here, and a lot of the trees that I transplanted along the borderline here between our neighbor and us are doing well, but I want to get a nice living fence going right down around here. But it all takes time. And it's so nice having a significant body of water here on these hotter days in the shady environment. It's just so relaxing and so beautiful. Just wonderful. And give this a couple of years and we'll have beautiful ground cover in here, and hopefully I will be taking out some of these trees before, and here's the tops of some of the dead ash trees. The trees are still standing, but these are some of the dangerous things that can come down on you at any time. Oh, there's some of the geese going to pond 3 now. I'll walk down there first, down to pond 3, and then we'll go back to the green machine, swing over by pond 4. So last year I put in a few hugelkultur pits over here. They're doing well. There is a little bit of a sinking spot over there, which I never got to because it was so soft over there when I put it in. So, I know you see. So that's our youngest set of babies there, the goslings right there, with those 2 Canada geese. And let's see, we can walk over here and see a little bit of pond 3. So I make these areas where the wildlife can get down into to get to the water as it gradually dips down into the pond. So this one is one of the ponds that we have islands in the center. Lots of duckweed on the surface here. Really nice and beautiful. There's a sitting area over to the side over there. We won't go. Another slope to gently get in. That's where most of the deer go in over there when I see them over there. And of course, all the other wildlife are in and out of these places. And trying to decide where to walk next. So nice in the shade. I do want to work on pond 4, the sitting area around there, sometime this summer. We're getting close to getting the garden set. So this is still pond 3 over in here. And pond 3 is also part of the bioremediation system. But the main parts of the bioremediation systems are these canals that we put in. And all of the plant life and microbial life in here help to remove waste products that are in the water. And this is all comfrey around the border here. See the turtles jumping in. And we'll walk over here real quick. So this is all part of the bioremediation canal system. Now the water comes from the sediment collecting canal system. So this is the sediment collection system here. And as I mentioned earlier, this drains from the swales, from the road, from all of the work areas I do, from our driveway, works its way around the gardens and the buildings here. It comes around, it gets deeper and deeper as it gets deep right here. And gradually, as the water works its way here, the sediment starts to settle out and drop towards the bottom. And I can use the excavator later on to scoop out the sediment for using that soil. Now that's anaerobic because it's devoid of the oxygen being at the base down in there. But we'll go ahead and re-oxygenate it, and then the water comes across and goes into our bioremediation system here, going over into pond 3. Then it works its way as the water levels increase, goes under the driveway here, and then back out into the next phase of the bioremediation system here. And I've got lots of work to do. Part of my block wall over there that supports the bridge there, you can see it's looking a little funky. Well, we had that drop yesterday because I didn't get to it in the last 3 to 4 years that I should have. But, you know, a man can only do what a man can do. So this is pond 4. And this was the very first pond I put in with a dozer years ago. Then we redid it And as I saw how much sediment, every time we had a big heavy downpour when I was doing all the work, gradually the sediment started filling up in all of these areas because this pond was deeper. So within the next 3 years, I plan on redoing this pond and digging it out deeper. And I'll be making a ramp going up so that the turtles and the baby ducks and baby geese can make their way up easily, because I never anticipated how much difficulty they would have. I have sets of stairs going down here, but that's tough for the little baby. The snakes and raccoons and everybody else and all can make it easily, but the turtles and the goslings and ducklings can't make it out of here when they're really tiny, and that's sad. So I've got to pull out all these trees. I'll be doing that. Our sitting area is on the other side of the pond there, bindweed. Great. And then we'll swing by pond 5 over there. So we've gone through pond 1 on the top of the property, went to pond 2, which feeds into the sediment collecting canal system. We saw pond 8 in the wooded area. We just saw pond 3 over there on the other side of the roadway there. It goes into the bioremediation canal system and goes into pond 4 here. And pond 5's on the other side of the, and we'll swing by that in a minute with the green machine, the Avant 860i. And I didn't think about how difficult it is for me to get in and out of there holding a camera. It's easier with Pepe, but Pepe's so loud. Today we harvested shallot scapes, so there'll be a video. There should have been a video by the time this one goes up on harvesting them, and I posted an article on mindfullivingsanctuary.com on how and why to harvest shallot scapes. We grow Dutch red shallots, which are delicious. They store very well in the crisper drawer of your refrigerator, and in a moist, cold environment like in a root cellar over the winter months as well. So, and pretty soon I'll be harvesting the garlic scapes. The other video I did, which will probably have been up before this one, I did that one today as well, on pruning the fig trees. And I did post an article on how we grow our brown turkey and Chicago hardy fig trees here on the property. And we grow them as a living part of the living fence. And pruning them is really important when you're doing it like we're growing them, because we're in zone 5A, which is a quite cold, temperate climate, and they would not survive. I mean, the roots would survive. Bear with me, I try to get my seatbelt on here. The roots would survive the winters here, but you probably wouldn't get fruit like we've done that. We've got some plants that are now 3 years old, but each year they get weaker and weaker because we have less of a snow insulation blankets. So there's the garden plots over here. So this is the eastern garden plot, the herb garden. This is the central garden plot right over here. We'll do a garden tour soon. This is the bioremediation canal system that we walk by, and pond 4 over here. Got lots of work to do around here. And the western garden plot over here, which I've been making videos about and doing our paper roll, double ground hardwood bark mulch mulching system. I have more work to do on this. Hopefully one will be coming on this soon. We aren't going to go up front at all today because this is basically a video on the pond systems, the waterworks here on our property. So here's the living fence over here between our neighbors. I just posted a living fence video recently, but these are the fig trees that I just pruned today and posted an article on our website, which is mindfullivingsanctuary.com. Please feel free to comment and add aspects that I didn't add to our articles on our website. There's a section for commenting here. Alright, here's pond 5 right here. This is the one that's the leakiest one that I've done videos on trying to patch it and all, which has helped some. It has an island over there as well, right in the central part of it, and the greenhouse is right over there to the side, and the coop where Thea spends a lot of time working in there. And now we're going to go down by the almond trees. So these are all black locust trees, part of our living fence on this side of the property here. These are all black locusts. I really love the black locust trees. They're considered a nuisance for many people. Again, pond 5 over here on our side. And here we are, the almond forest. So I showed some images. Now, pond 5 here drains. There's a swale over here by the, well, okay, I'll just turn right over there. We'll go over there. But these are the almond trees in the almond forest. There's pawpaws there as well. So this is the swale, spillway system and the swale connecting pond 5 to pond 6. There's more of the almond forest as we go by this on the side. On this side, these are all of the first fruit forest. I haven't really spent much time in the first fruit forest. There's a honey hut, the building where the beehives are located. More of the almond forest on our right. Along the geese over here to our left by the solar panels. All around, that's all first fruit forest area there. Of course, this is an area that I have done a lot of work with the excavator and the Elon and the Hulk. Now here's pond 6. This is all sand and gravel down in here. And this is the one that drains the first. So the water, well, you can't even see the top of the water down there. It's just a couple of feet deep right now. So that needs to be patched. That's on the list. Sugar shack over there. Now, pond 6 drains down this spillway here. Sorry about that with the camera. In front of the equipment, the attachments that are sitting out here. There's a spillway that works its way down into pond 7. And over the last couple of years, I've done quite a bit of work expanding pond 7 and planting some trees and various bushes around pond 7 here. These are some of the larger stones that I pick up from time to time. Thank God for having pieces of equipment. So this is pond 7 right here. We'll go around this one. And Bumblebee, the Hound, which was my first track loader, Komatsu CK35-1, and my mini excavator Bumblebee Komatsu excavator. Really did a lot of work there. So this drains through another swale, a spillway, and then a swale over there. And then it dumps into the forest. So now we're heading back east, but the ground is going to, well, the topography is going to drop off here quite a bit. So we're already about 15 feet lower right here, maybe 20 feet lower right here than the top of the property where we started off at pond 1. And it really wants to go to the west, so we keep redirecting it to the east. And then we come down here to what I put in as a canal next to a vernal pool, which the beaver have moved into as well. Second here. Turn the speed up a little bit. So when Thea came down here earlier, a doe was in the pond sitting there, or standing there munching on something along the margin. The water level's low. Usually there's water in these sections and it's spilling across the roadway here. So things have really dried up a lot over the last 2 weeks. And this is the spillway that I put into the canal system here, but the beaver built a dam here, and this is the one I have to keep coming and lowering a little bit. I don't have to do it now because the water level's so low. And you see the beaver here working around dusk time all the time. The second largest beaver pond is on the other side of this area. We can't really see too much from here. But the beaver have taken over my canal that I put in here and wiped out a lot of the trees and are creating this as their habitat now. They have little channels going all through this whole area to allow them to work. I don't believe that they have a lodge over here. And often if you come down here with me, you see you can barely see those stones at all because that's where the beaver removed my... So in order to build all these roads, I ended up digging up stone walls and bringing them down here and building the base for the roads. And the beaver just stack all those stones up on each side so that they can just swim through there nicely. So what we're coming up to here on our left is what we refer to as our lower beaver pond. And this is the roadway I built alongside of the lower beaver pond here. And here's one of their channels that they make through the area into a large beaver pond down there that's fairly shallow. This is what we call the lower beaver pond. And we're going to go up one side of this lower beaver pond as we go up to the other pond that I dug at the end of fall last year on the new property. And I did come down with my telephoto lens. You can see a couple of the swans out there. Let's see if they move pretty quickly. But I did take some video of the rookery a couple of weeks ago when the baby herons were very young and very small. And I got to get down here with the camera again and shoot some more before they start leaving the nest, because they'll be leaving the nest pretty soon. This is all part of the upper beaver pond. We'll drive around the other part of that in a few minutes. This is all part, there goes a green heron there. All part of the upper beaver pond. Okay, you can see one of the mute swans right here. Maybe you can see him. And way off in the distance, beyond where the beaver lodge is the other swan. Usually they're almost always together. It's quite a large beaver pond, that one is. All this was forested area years ago when I first moved on the property back in the 70s through the 80s. And in the 90s, early 90s is when it all started to make some big changes, and the beavers really changed everything here. So we'll take a meander up. So this is base camp. I made videos here. Once I got across the pondway there, built a road in, I dubbed this base camp. This is all cool culture pits underneath this area, like many places on the property. These are some of the trees and blueberry bushes that I dug up around the almond trees. And so they're all transplanted here. They'll go up into another area on the property once I get the property cleared up of all of grapevines, and now these are wild grapevines, massive grapevines. These ones I've already worked on quite a bit. Got most of these are dead, these grapevines here, but there's grapevines, poison ivy, and lots and lots of dead ash trees standing here. Kind of a dangerous place to work with equipment, because you may be working here and then all of a sudden another tree will fall on you from a different direction. So this is all material, so this is really soft up here. This is all material I excavated out of this pond over here that we're going to go by. And I've got to grade this out first, and then I've got to remove a lot more of the soil over here from this big pond. I call it a big pond. It's not really that big. But this is one more road I put in. Stone walls all around here, lots of stone I put into the base of this, out of the stone walls, and then took the material as I excavated out the ponds, which was predominantly gravel, but a sandy gravel. This is the area where there were buildings. There's a hugelkultur pit right there. Go from down here and look at this pond. Real bumpy here because this is all soaking wet when I did this area. All this soil. So quite a bit more earthwork to do, but got some really good sized boulders out of here. Really big one over there. And yeah, so I got some work to do up here. It's very rough on you trying to move around up here. Really bumpy. Lots of ruts from the equipment working up here. It looks like it's getting close to dry enough now that I may be able to get some more work done up here. Get some of these piles moved out as well. I have a swale system I put in over there, which the growth has already come back, so possibly next year if I get like a Harley rake for my equipment, I'll be able to work on this area over here and then reforest it, get a lot of the oak trees, locust trees, all those in there. We're going to go, instead of going down the tighter section, which is still a little bit wet, we'll just go back down this new road I put down in here. And then we'll go by the other section of the upper pond, going in between the upper and lower beaver ponds. So hopefully you can hear me okay inside the green machine here. This is the quietest, most comfortable machine. Well, Suki's very comfortable too. I think it's RTV, the Kubota X1100C, also known as Suki. Thea's got that. Thea called dibs on that. It's got the heated air conditioning and all. And she needs that air conditioning on the hot days. The air conditioning in here is fantastic as well. So, yeah. So you can see some of the extent of the upper beaver pond off in the forested areas and around here. And we'll go over the roadway that I built next to the beaver dam in just a minute when we get there. Yeah, I got some work to do to smooth out some of the property around here. Lots of limbs to still pick out. So I haven't been down here in the last week other than just to come down and drop off rocks in the places. These are all goose droppings all along in here, and heron droppings. So this is all stone underneath this, all stone walls to build up the roadway here. I have some more work to do on this section right in here so that I can get the trailer behind this piece of equipment and be able to go back and forth with the trailer behind the green machine here. Right up in here is where I made a place for our boat launch that I have yet to use, and I think I've had it for 3 years now. One of these days. So this is the lower Beaver Pond that we call it again, and to the right is the upper Beaver Pond. And we're just going to go across this roadway here. The water level in the upper Beaver Pond is a little over 6 feet higher than the water level here in the lower Beaver Pond. Right here's the path that the beaver make their way up back and forth every night and day. I think they've been already over there today. The water's still stirred up over there. And when you look at the drone footage, you can see all the channels that they built through the whole area. Geez, I hope that swan is okay. I'll have to come down here and double check. He's staying stationary there. Usually they're cruising around. The number of dragonflies and damselflies down here is just amazing. And turtles are crossing the roads nowadays, so be kind. If you see them going across the road, try to get them to the other side of the road, if you would. That would be very nice. A good earthly thing to do. And I guess this is about it. So this is the other edge up here of the large Beaver Pond. So I think I'll end this video here. Just wanted to go around. I mentioned earlier in a few videos that we'd go through the ponds again and show you where they are and how they're doing. The water levels will get a little bit lower. Pond 6 will dry right up. Pond 5 will get really low. But that's just part of it here when you're working with gravel, which is really porous. So if you stayed to the end, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, ask a question. And by all means, folks, stay safe and take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye now.